What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, I am going to be talking about whether or not the New York Giants should go out there this offseason and sign Jack Conklin. And a lot of New York Giants fans are probably going to say immediately, yes, you need to do it. Our offensive line is bad. He's the best guy on the market, and he is. He is probably the best offensive lineman on the market when you factor in age, when you factor in talent. But you have to ask yourself, why did the Titans not extend this guy for a fifth season? And the answer is simple. It's an ACL injury, right? He suffered last year, and he has not been the same player since, and we'll get into that. Conklin, of course, a former first-round pick out of Michigan State. He went 8th overall, 2 picks before the Giants selected Eli Apple. And most Giant fans in that draft were hoping for Conklin, and Conklin certainly proved to be worthy of that selection early on in his career. He was an All-Pro and was one of the best offensive linemen in the sport early on in his career and showed a great rapport with Marcus Mariota, and it looked like a very bright future there, and it looked like a slam dunk pick. Now, can Conklin rebound and get back to that form? It's certainly possible. He's still only 25 years old and will be 26 next year. In terms of what to expect, what he will get paid on the open market. Right now, he plays the right tackle position. Last year, Trent Brown of the New England Patriots signed a deal for $16.5 million a season. So that is probably what you're looking at. Trent Brown was known as a pretty good right tackle, didn't have the injury history of a Conklin, and got paid the highest on the market, being that Conklin is probably the most sought-after tackle if he becomes available. Of course, the Titans could always extend him and sign him, but if he becomes available, he will probably get a comparable contract, maybe a little more. You're probably looking at about $17 million a year. Now, where would they play him? They could play him at the right tackle, or they could play him at the left and move Nate Solder over. I expect Nate Solder to be here next year, being that he carries a $13 million dead cap hit. But should the Giants commit this much money to a guy coming off an ACL tear, and when I jump into the numbers, you may change your opinion. So let's jump into the numbers for Jack Conklin. There's Jack Conklin. And here's the first thing I wanted to bring up. This was Jack Conklin after his rookie season with the Tennessee Titans. Conklin's 2016 season was the highest graded rookie campaign for an offensive tackle in the PFF era. So that was over a 10-year stretch, of course, because this was in 2016. They began in 2006. From day one, he contributed at a near elite level in both pass protection and as a run blocker. As a rookie, Conklin allowed just 2 sacks, the second fewest among 61 offensive tackles that played at least 360 snaps in pass protection last season. So, I mean, he was undeniably an unbelievable offensive lineman early on in his career. I then wanted to pull up this. This, of course, has to do with why the Titans did not extend him. But declining production, no doubt at least somewhat caused by injuries, has the former Michigan State tackle's future with the franchise that drafted him at least a little uncertain. On Wednesday, the Titans declined to pick up the 5th-year option to Conklin's rookie contract, which would have paid him $12.8 million. Tennessee drafted Conklin with the 8th overall selection in 2016. This is Conklin's PFF grade this year. We saw that he was an 89 as a rookie. He's now coming off that ACL injury. He is at a 70.6, which is still somewhat respectable, but nowhere near the production you were getting on early in his career. Now, could he bounce back and get back to that point? It's certainly possible. It's also possible that he may never be the same player again. By comparison, here is Nate Solder's grade, 67.6. So not that far off, as much as we hate Nate Solder. And Nate Solder should only get worse as he's getting up there in age. I'm not by any way, shape, or form advocating for Nate Solder or saying that he is comparable to a Conklin. The question is Conklin worth throwing $17, $18 million a season at? Tennessee did not think he was worth throwing 12.8 at coming off the injury. Now, maybe they wanted to see more evidence that he could stay healthy, and he has done that this year. And I think he's only surrendered 3 sacks so far this season, where Solder has surrendered 8. He would certainly be an upgrade for the Giants, but is he worth investing that much money? Or should the New York Giants focus elsewhere in free agency with the money that they do have and possibly go offensive tackle early on in the draft and get a player without an injury history? That is the question. You also would not have, obviously, if you sign a Conklin, you're committing a similar deal to what you did with Nate Solder. It's going to be a 4 or 5 year commitment to a Jack Conklin. Now, the age certainly matches, right? That's what I like about Leonard Williams. The age matches up. He fits the direction of this team, being that he will only be 26 years old next year. But you will have to commit a Trent Brown-like contract. Now, am I going to be upset if they bring in a Jack Conklin? No, I recognize that the guy has a lot of talent, but I am weary of the injury history and the fact that he is certainly not back to the form that he had early on in his career. So you're going to be paying a premium for a player you may very well never get the level of production that you got in his first and second year in the NFL. So that's the question the New York Giants will have when it comes to free agency. Is it worth signing Conklin to the deal? Is he an upgrade? No doubt about it. He's certainly an upgrade over Remmers. But could the money be spent better elsewhere? That's the question for you guys. I personally think it might be. After looking over the numbers and the injury history, I don't know if Conklin is the guy I would go after when you factor in the money that he more than likely will command. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.